You are watching a film. Everything is fine, and then a scene hits and tears start rolling down your face. Something happens inside you and the body responds with water from your eyes. You're not hurt. No one died. You're watching a fictional story. Your brain genuinely cannot always tell the difference between real and imagined loss, and yet your body is producing tears. Real, wet, salty tears. Tears triggered by no physical cause, by something invisible and internal. Why? What is actually happening? And why does it help? The science has answers, and they are surprising, because here is the thing. Humans are the only animal that cries emotional tears. Other animals can feel pain, can feel loss, can grieve, but their distress stays internal or is expressed differently. But none of them shed tears the way we do. The tear duct as an emotional outlet is a uniquely human evolutionary development. Only us, and no one fully knows why. It is one of the most studied and least understood human behaviors.
First, let us be clear. There are three different kinds of tears. Basal tears, the tears your eyes make constantly to keep themselves moist. Without basal tears, your eyes would dry out and you would go blind. Reflex tears, the tears that come when something irritates your eye. And emotional tears, the ones that come with feeling. Every mammal produces basal and reflex tears. Those are functional. Dogs get watery eyes. Horses get watery eyes. That is normal mammal biology. But emotional tears, only humans. And emotional tears are chemically different from the other kinds. This tells us emotional tears are not just overflow. They are doing something specific. They contain more protein, more hormones, more mood-regulating chemicals. Crying is not just emotional, it is physiological. The body is doing real work. Emotional tears contain leucine and enkephalin, a natural painkiller. Crying literally reduces pain.
So why do humans cry emotional tears at all? There are several theories, and they all have something to say. Theory 1. Crying is a signal for help. The oldest and most widely supported theory. A visible, unmistakable signal that says, I am overwhelmed, I need support. The signal crosses language barriers, culture barriers, age barriers. In our evolutionary past, being alone and overwhelmed was dangerous. No support meant no one to watch for predators, no one to help find food. Tears called the group closer. They triggered care in others. Not just sympathy, active, physical, moving towards you care. When you cry, other people want to help you. That is not accidental. It is one of the most reliably triggered helping behaviors we know. Tears evolved to make you harder to ignore. In an ancient world, being ignored while in distress could be fatal. A face with tears on it is one of the most powerful social signals in the human repertoire. More powerful than a shout, more powerful than a smile, more powerful than words. Theory 2. Crying releases stress hormones. Emotional tears contain stress hormones that the body wants to expel. The body literally uses crying to clean itself of chemical distress, including cortisol, the primary stress hormone. When cortisol builds up too long, it damages the heart, the immune system, the brain. This is why crying often feels like a release, because it literally is. Not a metaphor, a physical chemical release from the body. After crying, cortisol levels drop, mood lifts. The body has cleared something. Studies show that most people feel better after crying, not worse. Theory 3. Crying is a form of communication more honest than words. The most socially potent signal a human can send. Words can lie. Tears are much harder to fake. Fake tears are possible but obvious. Real tears are involuntary and unmistakable. When someone cries in front of you, your instinct is to believe them and to move toward them, to touch them, to say something comforting. Tears bypass our defenses and go straight to our empathy. You cannot reason your way out of responding to tears. The response is deeper than thought. And here is where it gets truly fascinating. Tears do not just affect the crier, they affect everyone who sees them. Seeing someone cry literally activates the same neural circuits as crying yourself. Mirror neurons, the brain's empathy engine, activated by tears. Your brain does not fully separate their distress from your own. This is empathy, not a choice, a wiring. This is called emotional contagion, and it is one of the foundations of human empathy. Before you can help someone, you need to feel something of what they feel. Humans who cry more easily tend to have stronger social bonds because their emotional lives are more visible, and visible emotions invite connection. Not weaker, stronger, because they signal more openly, and their signals are received. The people who never cry are not stronger, they are less connected. Tears are social glue. They bind people together in shared feeling. A cry witnessed creates a bond between the crier and the witness. And here is the twist. We think of crying as weakness. This is one of the most widespread and most damaging beliefs in human culture, as losing control, as something to be ashamed of. In many cultures, adults, especially men, are told not to cry. Boys don't cry. Hold it together. Be strong. Crying is suppressed, hidden, apologized for. We say sorry for crying, as if crying is something we did wrong. But the science tells a completely different story. What we call weakness, evolution calls a sophisticated survival tool. Crying is not weakness. It is one of the most sophisticated social behaviors humans have. It requires the brain to process emotion at a level no other species manages. It took millions of years of evolution to develop. That is not weakness. That is investment. It bonds, it communicates, it releases, it heals. 4 functions, 1 behavior, evolved over millions of years to do all of them. People who allow themselves to cry recover from stress and grief faster. Suppressing tears does not reduce the distress, it stores it. They have lower rates of heart disease, better immune function, stronger relationships. The research is consistent. Crying when you need to is good for you. Holding back tears is not strength, it is stress stored in the body. Chronic tear suppression is linked to higher rates of anxiety and depression. The animal that evolved to cry did so for very good reasons. Evolution does not keep expensive behaviors around unless they work. And the most powerful, most human thing you can do when you feel overwhelmed is this. Something your ancestors did. Something evolution built you to do. The most ancient and the most human response to being overwhelmed. Not hiding it, not fighting it, not apologizing for it. Let it out. Your ancestors did, for hundreds of thousands of years. That is not weakness, that is wisdom, as old as the species. Subscribe. Every day, we dig up one piece of the ancient human story.